Tamar did, in fact, show her behind at that dinner. But I am actually starting to feel like Tamar's behavior is warranted. Now, I'm going to tell y'all where this all started. This all started where Tamar was the baby, and they thought that her antics and her behavior was cute. And then she became an adult that had a voice and a backbone, and she was using it against them, and they didn't like it. Now, we're going to move on from that. Because what I think actually happened is Tamar kind of took the back seat and was like, I'm going to do this for Tracy and we're going to keep it cute. But when that cease and desist came, she really thought it came from the sisters. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Unpopular opinion. I think either the brother or Miss Evelyn is who sent that cease and desist. I don't think the sister sent it. And I say that because there's no way Toni would have like willingly sent a cease and desist after her and Tamar had a whole conversation where number one, Toni feels like Tamar shows the chitlin circuit, so that was some shade. But number two, she felt like they should have came on the niece should have came on the show, and I think that Toni also realizes that that's good for ratings and that's good TV for their network and for their program. Now, I think that's where some of the divide happens because what I kind of have figured out at this point is since Tracy has passed, I think that Towanda and Trina have gotten real close. I've been listening to what y'all been saying. I see y'all in the comments. Allegedly, Towanda must have lived with Trina at some point. Trina put Towanda out. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Put that in your back pocket. I also think that Toni and Tamar have always had a certain kind of relationship where they have certain conversations that they don't share with other people. And I think some of that is because, Tamar feels like Toni can understand her being a superstar. Now, Tamar might not be on Toni's level, but Tamar's a celebrity and she got a little name and platform for herself and she's doing her thing. I think that Trina and Towanda become the outcasts who are just in the background. They live their little lives and do whatever they want to do. And I also think that Tracy fell in that category too. But I think for Tracy, it was easier for them to like make her the outcast. And I think now they've like transitioned that into Tamar being the outcast. Now, what I do want to say about that entire conversation at that dinner table is that that was not a conversation for TV. I do think that that's a conversation for sisters to have. Sisters are going to argue. Sisters are going to fight. Sisters are going to disagree. Sisters are going to have tension and all kinds of difficulties to overcome. But I think like as soon as that conversation started going to Wanda feeling like she needs to talk about who Tamar is sleeping with, or Tamar having to talk about how Trina had her called on some stuff, and how Tamar even went further to say, well, I put the down payment on your house. When the conversation started getting there, to me, that was normal sister banter. Well, I did this for you, and I did that for you. And really, Tawanda, you look kind of crazy because you talking trash about the person that's the reason you sitting in your house. That makes sense? Okay. But the most disgusting thing about that entire exchange was when Tawanda said, I don't argue with sick people. Tawanda, that's not fair. That young lady has made attempts on her life. That young lady has been open and honest about her struggle with mental health. And for you to sit there and play like that, anything that Tamar said or did after that was warranted because that was a trigger. And you pushed the button, and after you pushed it, you kept saying it. Now, the other thing that you did to Wanda that was very crazy to me is telling Toni, oh, we can just call the police and press charges. You were so eager to press charges, and I'm glad that Toni was mature enough to be like, I'm not calling the police. I'm not pressing charges on my sister. Like, she was cool. She just wanted to get out of there. And I think the true reality of all of this is y'all need neutral territory to talk about the issues and leave out all these other details. Because what happens is we start talking about all these other things that don't matter, that don't contribute to how we feel. A lot of what's happening right now is y'all wanted y'all sisters to show up for y'all in a certain way in certain parts of y'all life, and y'all didn't get that. Or y'all wanted a certain kind of support at a certain time in life. Because I also heard somebody talking about Toni Braxton's memoir when she was talking about how she got signed and the rest of her sisters didn't, and how it kind of became the initial divide of her family, and her mama and her daddy was not supportive, and her mom was not talking to her. The only person that gave her positivity was Tracy, and Tracy said, well, you could just come back and bring us with you. That was the beginning. And then what happened after that is I think Toni felt guilty, and that's why she became the ringleader of I gotta take care of my family. And I think that's why Toni leaned into, well, I thought we support and take care of our family. And I think Tamar is fine with doing that until one, she feel like you using and abusing me, and until two, she see you with a man. Because my whole thing is, Towanda been with this man since that down payment on that house. That man couldn't put you in the house. That man couldn't help you get in the house. But that's the man you choose to marry. Interesting. Now, the Braxton family breakdown is a clear depiction of what happens in families all the time. Everybody family got some foolishness. We just don't always show it. And I just think the unfortunate thing about them being on TV and being on TV for so long, their difficult moments are always televised.